solving not only the governance trilemma, but also the scalability trilemma that people talk about. By the way, Luna collapsed, FTX collapsed. There was a 90% reduction in altcoin value in the industry, and there was a huge wave of litigation. Maybe that fact escapes you. Okay, that's what macro changes mean. And perhaps there's a deep insecurity that's brewing that maybe, just maybe, we're actually winning. If you look at fundamentals, at the end of the day, we have the strongest because we have the strongest community. We have the best depth of research, and ultimately, we have the best engineers and the best builders. And there's no one I'd rather bet on or ride on than our people.
Cardano, it's been a little while since we've covered it on the channel, and we're going to be talking about some of the exciting things that are to come for this blockchain. Of course, we have the Chang hard fork that's set to take place within the next 180 days. We are just waiting for a couple of node upgrades. Once, I think it's over 70% of the stake pool operators like myself have upgraded to that node, Chang will then be complete and the fork will take place. And ultimately, this is going to see the switching on of Cardano's on-chain governance. So what I'm going to do in this video is take an objective look at where Cardano is, some of the exciting things that Chang is going to bring, and also talk again about some of my concerns with Cardano. I am of the opinion that the cryptocurrency space is 100+x more competitive than it was back in 2021. And what Charles Hoskinson said at the start there, I believe, is very right. Cardano, in many regards, is a leader in the cryptocurrency space, certainly in regards to principles and theory, in regards to how we actually do blockchain. It really has been first on many things. I still believe that Cardano has probably the best proof of stake consensus that there is, period. In fact, we see many other blockchain projects taking, I think, knowledge from Cardano's Ouroboros. However, it's very much been first in terms of principles, and even though it has largely completed, and with the Chang hard fork will be completing or mostly completing the kind of roadmap that was set out that I've been following since I've been in the cryptocurrency space, there is still a hell of a lot of work to be done. And actually, we even looked at some of the devs from Cardano talking about their concerns in regards to after the Chang hard fork. How long is it going to take to see input endorsers, partner change, the ZK rollups, and all the things that were sort of implemented and spoke about or brought up in the Laos paper? So a lot of the things that Laos looked at was taken or is the kind of formal paper in regards to what was spoken about in Charles Hoskinson's early whiteboard video back in 2015 that we love to share. One of the reasons we were so bullish on Cardano was because we loved this concept of having a kind of security chain, if you will, Cardano being the main chain that you can spin up and basically duplicate to tackle the problem of scalability whilst sort of maintaining a high level of security and, of course, maintaining decentralization. Cardano is probably one of the most decentralized blockchains that there are. And that's important. You know, I've always had a very soft spot for Cardano, even though I'm addressing some of the issues that I face with it, given the competitive nature of the cryptocurrency space and the kind of where Cardano is in relation to lots of these other projects, whether you look at institutional partnerships, real world use cases, whether you look at scalability, cost efficiency, these kind of things, you know, even though I have some concerns there, I've always had a very soft spot for Cardano. In fact, I've been running a Cardano node since 2021 and helping to validate the network. And all in is the ticker for anybody that wants to stake with us and, of course, support that decentralization that Cardano is so famous for. I've always had a soft spot for it. And one of the main reasons is because it very much has been built with Satoshi's vision in mind and actually adding to Satoshi's vision this kind of decentralized, fairer, more inclusive world that a distributed ledger can enable. Cardano very much took what Satoshi was trying to do and said, okay, let's add this layer of capabilities in which we can build all kinds of things, almost a utopia on top of it. We're still yet to see that utopia come to fruition. And if the things that Cardano has been scientifically working on get rolled out and come to fruition, we've seen lots of them happen already, then it's going to be a pretty damn amazing distributed ledger. The issue that I have is by the time those things happen, have winners and lines in the sands already been chosen? And again, back to the point that I made at the start, we are in a way more competitive world than what we were even back in 2021 and 2020 when we saw the bull market. If you go back to the start of my channel, we were highlighting Cardano in the cents, 2, 3, 4 cents. It literally 100x'd. And there was a lot less competitors, a lot less innovation, a lot less rivalry going on back there. Can Cardano do the same thing again this cycle? I'm not convinced, and that's my only discrepancy with it. Doesn't mean I don't like the blockchain. Doesn't mean I don't think it has one of the best communities that there is, period. But it is falling behind in certain areas. And please let me know in the comment section, guys. What I might do is bring some sort of more prominent Cardano people on the show to actually have that debate. I think that would be a good thing, not just for myself, but for you guys, the community at large, and to ask the tough questions that need to be asked and answered. As somebody that's such a fan of this blockchain and really backed it since its inception, and importantly, I guess, and I want to just dive over to the roadmap, because this is entirely to Cardano's credit. Watch this roadmap get completed stage by stage by stage, whether it's Byron, whether it's the implementation of Shelley, whether it's Gogan, whether it's Basho, which we're still trying to do, and Laos is all about that in regards to kind of scalability, or whether it's Voltaire, which we're about to see come to life in 180 days with a Chang hard fork. Cardano has been doing what it set out to do. The question is really around speed, and the question is now, with Laos, which was an amazing paper, by the way, we'll leave a link to it in the description. It really set out the path forwards for scalability. Now, this is still all to be worked on. The papers and the theory is there, but the implementation of it, in most cases, something like Hydra, the implementation is already partly there. Even though we don't see many people using it broadly, it's still there. It's still, you still have Hydra heads. The thing is, with the Chang hard fork, the question is then, okay, now the community decide what road to tackle and deploy development and capital towards it. And how long does all of that take to sort of take place? Let's dive into another clip of Charles Hoskinson, and then we'll round off a lot of what we're saying. But guys, please don't take this as Cardano FUD. Nobody's a bigger fan of ADA than me. I still hold ADA. I still operate a stake pool. Is it my largest holding? No. And I'm going to be 100% honest with each and every one of you. And we have been nothing short of honest. The reason being is because I think there are blockchains out there that are going to get adopted from a real world use case, given the current position of things, to more of a degree than Cardano is, where it currently is. That doesn't mean the tables don't turn and that killer use case doesn't get built on Cardano. I'm a massive fan of lots of the projects that are built on ADA. Huge fan of NewNet, huge fan, of course, of SingularityNet, huge fan of World Mobile, huge fan of Iagon. There's a large list of projects that are built on top of Cardano that we're massive fans on. And it only takes for one of them to catch fire to bring hundreds of thousands, millions of people onto ADA. Now, let's dive into this second clip of Cardano, talking about where we are. We'll look at Laos, and then we'll round things up.
When you look at Chang and everything that we're doing over the next 180 days, we will turn on the largest on-chain government in the history of the industry. It's an undeniable fact. If you take a look at the Constitution Committee, the DREPs, the on-chain constitution, these are not hypotheticals. They are turning on imminently. In fact, Node 9.0 should probably be available this week or next, more likely than not. And then after 70% of the SPOs upgrade, there will be a hard fork. And that then means that something we've been talking about together as a community for 2 years has come to fruition. Then that on-chain government is going to look at Hydra input endorsers as realized by Laos, look at all the zero-knowledge technology, the partner chain portfolio, and other things, and they'll get recommendations from the institutions that were created to serve them about where to go and what to do. And there's a development team ready to finish that job, accepting the trade-offs and leaving no infrastructure behind. So in other words, mission accomplished for Basho. Voltaire governance done. Basho, we have best-in-class scaling. It's on paper. It's in prototype. And some of it's already realized via Hydra. It's there. Some people may choose not to believe it.
He's got a point. Cardano literally has been running pretty much without a hitch for 6 years now. In fact, without a hitch. We've even seen, I think it wasn't that long ago, that there was a kind of outage with a lot of the nodes, and Cardano just dealt with it like a beast. It's a great blockchain. And if, like I say, so there's no if on Chang, it's going to happen. Then the community is going to vote on what path they want to take and what things they want to pursue in regards to Ouroboros Laos, which sets out scaling concepts, partner chains, input endorsers, which was my really favorite thing in regards to what attracted me to Cardano initially, this idea of having one chain that you can essentially duplicate that infinitely and do anything with. And then you've got things like ZK, some of the zero knowledge proof stuff. The community is then going to decide which way they want to go with that. So things are getting done on Cardano. If you look at the roadmap, it's happening. The question is it quick enough? Does it need to be quick enough? Is there an urgency here? You know, we're talking about 180 days, which is going to take us into, next year? And then there's still going to have to be the voting, the implementation, the actual development of a lot of these concepts, which might not be such a mammoth task, but it might also be. So we could be looking at a 2-year... I don't know what the runway is. I'm not a tech guy. I'm sure someone's going to angrily comment in the comment section. But all I'm being is real here, saying that these are my concerns with Ada. I'm a massive fan of Charles. I'd love to have him on the show. I'm a massive fan of the blockchain. I'm a massive fan of the community. I just have my concerns. And before you get offended at anything that I've said, put a genuine response in the comment section to the concerns that I have with Ada. It's an exceptionally exciting time. The on-chain governance side of things, it's going to be amazing to take part and actually watch that take place. We want to be a D-rep for Cardano. We want to play an active role in the governance of Cardano as a stake pool operator. And we will look to open discords and things so that we can actually do that as a community and your voice can be heard. We want to play an active role. We have been playing an active role in running this blockchain. We want to play an active role in actually governing it as well and helping you guys get a say in doing that. But I have my concerns in regards to the timeline that all this is going to take place in. And I think there's even been some popular devs that have said a similar thing. However, and this is to Cardano's testament, it's never a rush thing. It's always been the tortoise against the hare. And the tortoise wins in that story. The question is that going to be the case in the cryptocurrency space's story? And if you look at the dawn of the internet, it was the companies that sort of were the largest in relation to the internet when it first came about, the dot-com boom. There's a lot of them are nowhere to be seen. And the ones with real staying power that have that vision of building and continued innovation and a dream and a vision, they're typically the ones that won. And I think Cardano could be that. But it's got a lot to do. It's got a lot to prove. I want to know all your thoughts in the comment section. If you look at, and it is undeniable, the Cardano roadmap, it's been getting ticked off time and time again. I mean, it really has. But Basho, Voltaire, we're still really to see in terms of governance. There's a lot of reasons to be bullish on it, but it's still to be complete. That's largely going to be voted on. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And again, that killer use case on Cardano could come out of nowhere and really change the table. There's a lot of reasons to be bullish on it, but there are some concerns that I have. And I want to know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. So that is it from me, ladies and gentlemen. Chang is going to be absolutely huge. I can't wait to take part in it. I can't wait for you guys to let me know your feedback on it all. Also, that's really going to kick off the process in regards to the Laos paper, the direction that we want to go into in regards to scalability and really fundamentally change this blockchain and its ecosystem forever. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed presenting it. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next.